Welcome back to Tiger Dragonstone's podcast, the Spiritual Awakening Show. Today's podcast will feature me answering a statement rather than a question. Well, I'm going to speak on the statement, which goes like this. It seems to me that identity wanting enlightenment is just another identity story. If enlightenment was genuinely wanted, it would be. The identity's existence is evidence to the contrary. Nobody has ever actually wanted enlightenment. Well, I would agree with the first sentence entirely. It says, it seems to me that identity wanting enlightenment is just another identity story. Indeed, it's a story. It's most definitely a story. Then it goes on to say, if enlightenment was genuinely wanted, it would be. The identity's existence is evidence to the contrary. What he's suggesting here is that because there is an identity, or you could say an ego, a sense of a personal self, this is the proof that you don't want to awaken. Because if you did, you wouldn't have an identity. You'd just be enlightened. It would just be always like that. But because there's an identity, then actually what you truly are is not trying to awaken. Or at least the idea of a person is not trying to awaken. Depends how deep he's trying to go there. But I would disagree with that statement because there is definitely an experience of a person identity that wants to awaken. In the so-called awakening experience, what you realize is that you was never the desire. You was never the one seeking. A seeker is what you have never been. You have always been that which has been allowing the seeker to run its course, to play out and dance in front of you. You being that imperceivable, pure, what we call awareness or consciousness, or that with a capital T. So you come to see that those desires existed, but not for a personal you. Experience cannot be denied. Experiences are happening all the time. You are experiencing right now. All that needs to happen is for us to see that we are not the one that is seeking. Now we cannot talk from that place, that placeless place, our true self, because that doesn't need to talk. It's already whole. As soon as there's an experience of talking, we are not talking as that. The substance that the talking is made out of, even your device is made out of that. That mystery that we truly are, that pure consciousness. But the talking, the thinking is not as that, even if we say it sometimes. Because by definition, that is whole. So if it's whole, it cannot know duality. It cannot even know the experience of a me and a you, because it's whole. There are no parts to it. This experience of parts takes place within experience of the mind, or through the mind, or as the mind. So the person, the identity existing is not evident to the contrary that one wants to awaken, I would not say. I would not agree with. Because the evidence is that the identity wants to awaken. It goes to satsang. It goes to spiritual awakening groups. It joins many on Facebook. It buys beads and crystals. That's the identity. All that is needed is for the deeper part of you to realize you are not that. That you actually don't need to awaken, but you are that which is watching the story. As you said yourself, the story of one wanting to awaken. The story is there. The story is self-evident. The commentary playing in the mind of, I wonder what life's like on other planets. I wonder what the soul truly is. Their stories being played out, but you are the observer of the stories. You are not the stories themselves. And then he says at the end, nobody has ever actually wanted enlightenment. I understand what he's meaning, but as I've said, I disagree with a couple of the things here. Because the person does want to experience enlightenment. It's not the person's or the mind's doing to exist. The mind did not one day say, I'm going to exist. It's not a separate entity. And that's what the spiritual journey shows you. It's never been a separate entity. It doesn't have its own individual will, even if it seems as though it does. The mind cannot just turn off. As soon as you are aware you are experiencing, it's because the mind is on. The thoughts are playing. The thoughts just appear, the mind just appears. It didn't decide, I'm going to get in the way of awakening. I don't want to awaken. It's not actually a solid thing or even a translucent thing. It just seems as though it is. So, that being said as well, it does not get in the way of awakening. It's actually because of that that awakening can happen. The experience of awakening. Because you come to see there's a deeper part to you than the person you say you are. Or the mind you say is you or yours. The mind expands during enlightenment. You realize there's another level to you. There's like a perceiver of the one that's apparently perceiving. The one that never gets involved with the internal dialogue. So I think I've answered or put forward my answer to it. But just to go over it again, it seems to me that identity wanting enlightenment is just another identity story. Yes, I agreed. It is a story. If enlightenment was genuinely wanted, it would be the identity's evident. The identity's existence is evident to the contrary. This is what I disagree with, because it says if enlightenment was genuinely wanted, it would be. Again, no, the mind doesn't have its own will to do something. And if we're talking about the truth, the pure self, the infiniteness that all of this is appearing within, that does not need to do anything. That doesn't know separation. That doesn't know a mind. That doesn't know a Mr. P, a tiger, a YouTube. It's already whole. So either you're talking about that, which you cannot talk about, which is already whole, which when that is let's say awakens, we will disappear as separate entities because we are dissolving into that, like in deep sleep. So that is completely not trying to want anything or does not want anything. Or you're talking about the mind, and again, the mind does not have its own personal will. The mind does not choose thoughts. It's just thoughts. It's just thoughts appearing. They are isolated. They are by themselves. They appear, disappear. Another thought appears, disappears. The only reason it seems as though they are a continuation is because of the background that is consistent, which is the true pure consciousness that you are. The identity's existence is evidence to the contrary. As I just said, no. The mind, which is the identity, its existence is necessary for experiencing to happen, and it's beautiful, and it needs to be. It's so beautiful that even though it seems like it so-called gets in the way of enlightenment or one has to overcome it, it seems as though that's true. Yet at the same time, we were never it. You've always been just observing it. So you get to a level in your journey where you can actually choose of how you are seeing as the mind, or seeing as that which is deeper or more before the mind, which is where the peace is. And it says nobody has ever actually wanted enlightenment. As I said, all desires are of the mind. So yes, a person does want enlightenment. It's just a simple case or task to see that you are not that person that is seeking enlightenment. It's about where you put the you, the I. Are you placing that I label on the body, on a thought, on a mind? Or are you understanding that that which the I refers to is distinct from mind and cannot be found with the senses, yet that is what you are? Because it's you that the world appears to. It's you that the universe appears to. It's you that enlightenment appears to. I'll say that again. It's to you that enlightenment appears to. So you are even before enlightenment. But for the person will always seek it. And it's supposed to be like that. Because if it disappeared, experiencing would disappear. We need to have this ego to experience otherness. Hope this helps anybody listening or watching, and have a wonderful day or evening, my fellow expression of consciousness. I just lost my microphone. I hope you heard that. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening or watching this episode. If you are listening to it on my podcast, please follow. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, please subscribe, and you'll stay up to date with the latest answers to the many interesting questions that the spiritual world has to offer. See you in the next one.